What is going on, everybody? This is Brandon.
And this is Chet.
Welcome back to ComixKings, or welcome if this is your first time. I know getting a lot of new people. Big thank you to everyone who checked out the John Romita Jr. Interview yesterday. That was a lot of fun, a great experience. Definitely catch the replay if you missed it. It was so short-lived. He's coming back, which is exciting. John Romita Jr. will be back, hopefully in September. So there's definitely that. But upcoming announcements is Kari Andrews, the writer and artist of Amazing Fantasy, dropping next week. Will be on the show Tuesday night to kind of talk about that. And yes, Chet is here. Morbius was supposed to show up, but he got stuck in heavy traffic, so we understand. Morb's link is in the description below, so still give him a sub up because he's dropping content now. And of course, follow Chet if you like your yellow labels and Stan Lee signatures out the wazoo. Sometimes they're blue, but that's like a lighting error. Just want to point that out. Today we are talking about some miniseries that maybe you guys have missed. You should go back and read. Coincidentally, we both brought up X-Men miniseries. Morb was going to bring up the Gambit miniseries from the 90s, but he still wanted me to mention that, so definitely check that out. I forget who wrote it. I think it was Tom DeFalco, but I might be wrong. Was it DeFalco or was it someone else?
I do not know when it comes to Gambit.
I don't know, but Gambit's a great character, so if you guys do want to know more about that, hit up Morbius, and he'll let you know all about it. Let's say hello to the chat. What's going on, Travis? Station to you. And we are hanging out with Justin, No Good Comics, next. So that's his link, and we'll be over there in about 10 minutes. We got, speaking of No Good Comics, there he is. There's our closer, our Mariano Rivera, our Jonathan Papelbon. If you've watched Major League or Wild Thing.
If I can. These days, it's Aroldis Chapman, and he ain't that good of a closer.
Okay. We got Favel in here. What's going on? We got Perry in here. We got Scott Haselwood. What's going on to everybody here? Just trying. Oh, we got John, who just had dropped a great video. If you guys missed that, which I'm sure you didn't, because probably all came from John in the first place. We got Roscoe, handsome homie Roscoe. What's going on? We got Sheena, my best friend. How are you doing? We got Jason. We got the guy who started everything, Rod Chesterican, in his comics. Drop my mic there.
Big Rod.
And I believe that's it. If you guys have a miniseries that you enjoyed, make sure you drop it down low, and we'll be excited to hear about that as well. Chet, what was the book that you wanted to talk about today?
Well, I'm going to go back a bit. I forget the year. Oh, well, now that I'm looking at it, it's 2006. I'm going to go with X-Men Deadly Genesis. Okay. It's the introduction of Vulcan, the third brother in the Summers line. And he was kept a secret by Professor Xavier. The series was really good. It's like he was a very powerful character. He still is. We know him these days because he's on Krakoa. And we also get a very big death. And I'm sure John and Justin are in here, and they're probably going to hear me say this, but it's the death of Banshee. So right now, when I say that, John and Justin are like, yes, they finally did it.
Yeah, they don't like Banshee.
And I'm like, yeah, I can hear it. I can see them just in jubilance. But on the real, Brubaker and what's this guy's name? Hairsine.
Trevor Hairsine.
Trevor Hairsine are the collaborators on this 6-issue miniseries that's worth every second of it being read. I liked it a lot.
Deadly Genesis is definitely one of the more bombastic, I would say, X-Men stories. There's like a whole lot of action. So
yeah.
Would you say it's a good starting point? Like, if you haven't read X-Men before, would you say you can just read it without knowing or reading?
I wouldn't call it a good starting point. There's too many years of a backlog to come into 2006 and start from there. Yeah, so, I would say you would have to start with the X-Men somewhere in the Bronze Age if you really wanted to just like get like right in the middle of all the before and shoot going, forward. So I guess the Chris Claremont stuff has more of a stick-to-itness than the early stuff.
Right. This was written in the 30-year anniversary of it, if I'm correct, of Giant Size X-Men #1. So
I really have no idea of that. And if you're right, well, then kudos to you, Brandon.
I believe I am right.
Well,
but many of you guys,
right, that's what matters.
if you are X-Men fans, you know or you know Trevor Hairsine from DCeased, his work with Tom Taylor over at DC Comics, which was a great hit. What's up, Simple Simon? What is a good jumping on point for an X-Men noob? If you don't want to go back and read Giant Size X-Men, I would honestly say Grant Morrison's new X-Men would be a good place to start.
Not a bad place to start, but I would think in the Uncanny run somewhere along the line, you jump in on that, you're going to get the bare bones of X-Men before you go anywhere else.
Right. I would definitely recommend that above anything else because it is such a great story. I know a lot of people are intimidated to go all the way back to the Bronze Age, and many people are looking for something more modern. However, for the X-Men, that is probably the holy grail to start at.
If you're going to do it digitally, you should start at 94 and keep going.
Yeah. Astonishing X-Men is another great series. Thank you to Scott by Joss Whedon and John Cassaday, who did a very good job on art. That was also the first introduction of Sword and Abigail Brand, who we kind of have some MCU speculation about.
Yeah.
That was a great series. And then I would also say if you just want to go back to how people started collecting in the good old days, read Hawks and Pox and ask your friends if you have any questions. So that's I would always say Hawks Pox too, but I know that's also intimidating because it is a lot to catch up on, you know.
It's a lot, but it's a good being serious, it's a good entry point if you're just starting with X-Men these days. Right.
Right. And the book that I want to talk about today was actually X-Men Fantastic Four. This is part of the whole Krakoa. If you guys have been catching up with that, this was by Chip Zdarsky, art by Terry Dodson, who is a good friend of the show. This was kind of exploring more of Franklin Richards' matureness and abilities as a mutant, while the X-Men kind of got their first glimpse of how they were perceived in the States by humans or other powered folk, and how like Krakoans were viewed and how Professor Xavier himself and his decisions were viewed.
Oh yeah, especially at the end.
Right. Right. So I don't want to spoil everything.
No.
Dodson's art is fantastic. If you guys follow Terry Dodson in his career, you know that his artwork is very clean, and his colors and inks are actually by his wife, Rachel Dodson, lovely wife, and they're a great team. And Chip Zdarsky is fantastic. Who also wrote a lot of Fantastic Four as well in the 2-in-1. So it's just a lot of great knowledge going into that book with Hickman's 4 plan.
That series with the X-Men and Fantastic Four has like the best opening in terms of like the recruitment process.
Oh yeah, come here. Or yeah, it's almost like it's Professor Xavier and Kate trying to get Franklin to go to Krakoa, but him and his sister end up running to Latveria, where we kind of get some foreshadowing into what Dr. Doom has been up to as well.
What's more important in the beginning is Cyclops' recruiting skills.
Oh, poor and pathetic.
No, but fantastic the way he pulled it off, and it was perfect.
It started to be poor and pathetic because he was I feel like Scott was very nervous because
I feel like he knew exactly what he was doing, and he pressed all the right buttons.
I think when Magneto came in there, it was more of the button pressing, and Xavier's kind of like change in demeanor was more impactful than Scott.
Let's just say Cyclops kicked it off correctly.
He did. He did a good job. That's coming from me.
Yeah, I know. And we've got it on film.
And we do have it on film. You guys know that I'm not the biggest Cyclops fan, but definitely check that out. It was 4 issues. If you guys really like what Chip Zdarsky has been putting out, definitely check that out as well. I know this is one of Terry Dodson's more recent works in Marvel, his most recent work in Marvel, because he's been doing Adventure Man with Matt Fraction, which is fantastic.
I've read that.
They be sure I'll lend you the trade. I'll lend you my hard copy, but it's fantastic. They also did X-Men back in the day, which was also fantastic as well. So like I said, you guys, this is Tag Team Thursday. So if you guys are new to this, it starts all the way with Just Rican and his comics. Then we go over to John's Comics Kids, dropped a great video with Entropy. Great seeing people in the community meet up, because that's really what it's all about. I remember the first time I met Chet, tackled me.
There's pictures on that too.
And then we go over to Tony, and then we're here, and then we close out with Justin. And it is time to bring out the closer. I welcome everyone in the comment section below. Make sure you guys drop a mini series for other people looking at this video. If there's a mini series that you would recommend, doesn't have to be X-Men. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, and let's head over to Justin. Let's go hang out with him. Look at Chet subtly displaying the Magneto helmet. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice. Look at the Magneto helmet right there. In the Washington football team. Look at that.
Redskins, we don't do that here.
It is the Washington football team. Thank you guys for stopping by. Chet, thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Make sure you guys go follow Chet for some more X-Men, some more Yellow Labels, for some more signature series. And as Chet never says, read your books. But I always like to say to touch your books. So we'll leave it at that. Take care, everybody.